All right, let's see. Looks like we're recording. Cool. It's live. What's
Nice.
going on, Susie? How are you?
Good. How are you? I
Very
missed you.
good. I see you've been busy. Looks like you're killing it out there.
Trying. I'm going hard.
Yeah, every day. It's a little bit of a grind. Things have been different. I mean, it's definitely been an interesting market for the last couple months, especially with
Yes.
COVID and everything.
Crazy. The
It's
craziest market. Like, what a time to join real estate.
seriously. It's definitely been crazy. I'm assuming you and everybody in the family, everybody's good, right?
Yes. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, cool. Same on our side. So we're going to keep this video relatively short. Obviously, we were talking about this, which is why we're on here. Let's go over a couple of things that you're experiencing in your marketplace. Now, what is your marketplace like? What area do you cover as far as real estate goes? Where do you seem to do a lot of your transactions?
I do a lot of business in Burlington County, Camden County, and Gloucester County,
Okay.
actually. 'Cause I
So you're
grew up.
basically right across the bridge from Philly.
Hmm.
Cool. That's awesome. And what are the things that you're seeing? Like, what things have you seen recently in the marketplace, especially, we'll say, in the last 6 to 9 months? Like, what are you seeing happening in the marketplace?
So there's a ton of buyers right
Okay.
now and very little inventory. Sellers are afraid to sell, whether it's because of the election or COVID, but buyers want to take advantage of the rates. So what's happening is a lot of the homes that hit the market, there's like 30 buyers, they're saying, to every home. So
Okay.
every house is running into bidding wars. It's literally
Wow.
insane. Insane.
And do you see, because I mean, we've seen a couple, I know that we've done a lot of pre-approvals for people where they'll make 5, 6, 7 offers before they finally get an offer accepted. Is that because it's really going to that big of a bidding war? And
Yes. Yeah.
wow, that's
Very
crazy.
little inventory.
How does that affect people? So let's say, for example, they go into a bidding war. I mean, are people coming in over asking price?
Yep, they're coming in over asking price. People are waiving their inspections, which is, of course, risky. 'Cause you
What are the
never.
risks? What would you say the risks are behind waiving the inspection?
Well, you're pretty much buying a house that you don't even know what's wrong with it. So, I mean, you could do things like that. I wouldn't recommend it. I would rather tell my buyer, to come to the table with the first $2,000 in repairs
Okay.
rather than, just waive it completely. That way the seller nets more money, so it makes it a stronger offer, but you're also safe from buying a home with all these issues.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like you could be buying a money pit potentially, and if you don't know what things that are wrong with it, like that's a really scary, um, that's a scary negotiation. I've
Mhm.
seen people. What about the waiving of appraisal? The appraisal waiver. What is that?
Oh my God. So people are waiving the appraisals. So they're going above asking price in order to win in these bidding wars, and then waiving the difference in the value and what their offer was. So let's say a house is priced at 200,000 to keep it simple, and people are coming in at 230,000.
Wow.
People are waiving that, say it only appraised at 200. People are waiving that and bringing that 30,000 cash to the table.
And you're seeing people are doing that?
It's
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, that has to make it really tough for what I would say the average borrower or
yeah.
buyer, because a
Mhm.
lot of those people they don't have the extra $30,000 to come to the table with.
Right, right. So you got to kind of get creative in other ways. Like things I've done is like have my client write a heartfelt letter to the seller. And of course, not everybody's going to go for that, but sometimes my lower offer is chosen because, they've built a connection. We're going to take care of this home and things like that, things that people want to hear if they're emotionally attached to that home.
I think that's a great point. I actually had somebody who they got a deal. Their offer was not the best deal, but
Mhm.
they liked the realtor. They happened to meet the buyers. They liked the buyers, and they said that the realtor filled out the agreement of sale better, or the agreement of sale better than anybody else. So sometimes it's those little things that may not always be about the money. Unfortunately, some
Exactly.
people they are all about that money and the bottom line. So, but
That's
that's
true.
a great point.
Yeah, I just won an offer. We weren't the highest bid, but we had the best terms.
Okay.
So it may not always be about the highest bid, the highest offer.
It's funny in North Jersey, we get a lot of the highest and best where people purposely
Yeah.
put their house on the market at a lower price or a more attractive price. And then they get a whole bunch of bids and then they say, okay, we're doing what's that?
That's my tactic. It's my favorite.
And they do a best and highest or a highest and best offer, and they'll say we're
Yeah.
going to make a decision on Wednesday or on Friday, and then it goes to a real bidding war, and then you see really who has, I feel like a lot of people they hide all the aces up their sleeves. Well, the best and highest, man, they're not hiding them anymore. They're throwing it all on the table.
They literally are. But what are you seeing, like on the mortgage end? What are you seeing in the market?
So it's been kind of crazy for us. First, I mean, obviously rates are historically low, and we've never seen. We think they can't go any lower. I mean, I just refinanced my house in December, and I had 3.5%, and I'm like, it can't go any lower than that. Well, like a month later, 2.75. Somebody else in my office got it. I was like, you got to be kidding me. We just did a 15-year at 2.25 at two and a quarter, and it's
So,
like that's crazy. That's free money. I mean, you think about that. I have when you look at placing your money in certain places, if you don't put it in the marketplace, you look and say, where else can I put my money? If you can save that much money on your mortgage, you could free up other monies to put
mhm.
into other financial vehicles. And it's just like 2.25% on a 15-year mortgage conventional. That's crazy.
I know.
Um, credit credit has been really tough. Credit has changed a lot with influencing the rates. I mean, we've seen people that if you don't have at least a 640 or 680 score, they get penalized severely. And now you can't even do it with most banks or lenders. If you don't have at least a 620, they're not even taking that mortgage.
Mm.
So that's really been really tough on people. But for the people with higher credit scores, which is why I've always, I always focus on credit, you are seeing way
Expert.
more. What's that?
Credit expert.
It's a weird hobby. I had a realtor say to me, I was like, yeah, I love credit. He goes, I've never heard any person say I love credit. And I started laughing. I'm like, yeah, I don't know why. I guess because when I started with credit, I didn't really have any money and I didn't make any money. And it was like, as I made more money and I bettered my credit, I realized how much credit really impacted my life.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, the credit requirements have gone higher for conventional. It's a 640 minimum or higher. Some banks, they still want it to be even higher than that. For an FHA, it's 620. There may be some banks out there that are doing 580 scores, but trust me when I tell you, you're paying through the nose for those lower credit scores. We did see, and maybe you could attest to this, we did see turnaround times because of the refinance market. The turnaround times, instead of doing 30-day rate locks, we were extending 45 to 60-day rate locks. Have you experienced any of those because it was taking so long for the lender to process?
Oh yeah, because it's everybody's so busy. Like lenders are backed up, appraisers, title companies, everybody's backed up because it's so busy right now, this market. Everything's getting pushed back.
Yeah. It's funny you say it about appraisers. We used to never worry about appraisals. We would say, "Oh, go have the inspection, wait for the inspection to come back, tell us everything's great. Then we'll, get the conditional loan approval and everything will be great, and then we'll order the appraisal." Well, then it was taking us over a month to get an appraisal done. And it was like, "What? A month? We used to have that stuff done in 5 to 7 days. Like, there's no way." So you're seeing the same thing then.
Oh yeah, when COVID first started, like appraisals were not caught up to the bidding wars that were going on, and everything was coming in low. So
Wow.
everybody was renegotiating at the end of the deal. It was literally madness. Madness.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, we've seen that the turnaround times have shortened again. So that's a good sign.
Mhm.
We do still have some active buyers. We do have a lot. I mean, there's a lot of active buyers, like you said. We have a couple properties that are moving. The problem is, like you said, there's thin inventory. So as
Yeah.
far as when you have somebody who's trying to make an offer, are there any recommendations you would say if they're trying to make an offer and they want to really try to, solidify that deal or look like the best offer? What's any kind of final tips that you would offer to your borrowers or your potential buyers?
Well, definitely don't waive the inspections, but if you can, try to take care of the first, whatever you're comfortable with, like the first 1,000 to $3,000 in repairs, and you know, do things like maybe if you're comfortable paying at least $2,000 over the appraised value, maybe you can do that instead of paying $30,000 over. Do what you're comfortable with, give it your best shot. Maybe look for the homes that have been sitting on the market in this market. If it's sitting for like 12 days, maybe you can negotiate better. It used to be like
Wow, 12
90 days.
days.
Now it's like 12,
It's
12 days.
so it is funny. I've seen things like where houses sell in 24 hours or the
Mhm.
house went on the market at 10 o'clock and by 3:30 it was already sold. One of
Oh,
my
yeah.
good friends just posted that.
Yeah, I had people, my one listing, I had people literally waiting outside the first day. There was like lines,
Wow.
lines of buyers.
And I think that brings another interesting point with us. What we've seen is I know a lot of home buyers, they don't want to have their credit run initially. They'd rather
Mhm.
wait. They want to go find a property. And I think, and you could probably attest to this, is that you've got to be locked and loaded. Like you need to be fully ready and approved so that if you see a house and it's a Tuesday night, that you got to be able to make that offer on Tuesday night. Because if it gets to Friday or if it gets to the Saturday open house, you're not getting that house. That or you're going to start paying, you
You
know,
have to be able to jump, willing to go, like ready to move. And if not, you're going to lose that house. It's not going to stay long. It's really not.
gotcha.
You can't even wait. Like, some of my buyers will want to see houses on weekends. And I'm like, you don't want to wait that long. Like, we're going to have to go Tuesday. What time are you done work?
Right.
It's that crazy. So,
No, I think that's great information. That's a good way
yeah.
to phrase it. Any final thoughts? Any other questions or anything else you want to share with people?
No, I mean, I do want to tell my current buyers to hang in there. Just hang in there. It's all going to be fine, I promise.
I,
And if anybody needs any help, give me a call. And of course, I got my credit expert behind my back, so we'll always take care of you.
yeah, we love to help people. I mean, kind of like you, we like to educate people. So if you're
Mhm.
ever afraid, like, for any of Susie's followers that are watching this, don't be afraid. Like if you have questions, even if you want to hypothetically see what you could qualify for, we have a simple way. It's a simple fact finder that we use to help tell people whether or not they would qualify without pulling their credit. Now you want to have an idea. So one of the things that we always tell people, if you have no idea what's going on with your credit before you call us, that's a problem. Only because then you really have no idea and we have no idea or no way of being able to tell you. Download a free app like Credit Karma. I use Credit Karma not because the scores are necessarily accurate, but because at least it'll tell us what's happening with your factors. And the factors are what makes up the score.
Mhm.
So whether you like Credit Karma or Credit Sesame or whatever it is, Mint, make sure you're using something so that you have an idea so that when you call us, we can run through the simple fact finder and have an idea as to what's happening with your credit. If you don't know anything about what's going on with your credit, 9 out of 10 times you probably won't qualify because credit is the entry point into the game. And so if you don't know, you probably don't know what's actually happening with your credit. But that's it. Yeah, I mean, don't wait. Like Susie said, if you're thinking about buying a house, call now, find out what you qualify for, see what kind of price point you could qualify for, and then you don't start looking at properties that you have no chance of buying. Because I mean, I'm sure you see that where people try looking at houses that they'll never qualify for, right?
Right, all the time. Because, a lot of the houses are priced a little higher now.
Yep.
And because they know they can get that price because there's no inventory.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like people in the lower price ranges, they're looking at, stuff they're really not interested in.
Yeah.
It's not your typical market. So,
No, it's definitely not. And that's why I think it's better for you to really communicate with your realtor, communicate with your lender, be locked and loaded, ready to go so that the second you find that house, you can pull that trigger and we can kind of get you in there before anybody else does.
absolutely.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for your time. It's great to talk to you again.
Talk to you
And
too.
yeah, we'll have to. In fact, if you want, we could try to. We'll set this up if we can do a webinar. If anybody has any questions, like first time home buying webinar, maybe we'll put together a time and a date, and we'll do this again. But we'll do some questions and answers and see what we can do for people.
Exactly. We love to help and bring value, help you get started and move forward and, chase the American dream of owning a home. That's what we're here
Awesome.
for.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Susie. I appreciate your time, and we're definitely looking forward to catching up with you again soon.
I know. I can't wait. Thanks, Ryan.
You got it. Take care.
Bye.